In class we solved this problem. The video I was recording then didn't turn out too well, so I decided to go back and do it again so you will have it for your reference. As we discussed in class, we want to solve this equation. It's a fractional equation, so the first thing we need to do is to figure out our common denominator, which hopefully you're able to recognize is x times x minus 3. And then in solving a fractional equation, first thing we need to do is then multiply through each term by that common denominator x minus 3. So we'd start off x minus 3 over 1 times what we had there, 2x over x minus 3 plus, and then x minus 3 over 1 times 1 over x and equals 4 and then times x minus 3. Okay, and then we want to go through and simplify. So there's a little bit of cancellation that we can do. We can cancel out the x minus 3's, and likewise we can divide out the x's. This leads us to the result 2x squared plus x minus 3 equals 4x times x minus 3. Now in this example I just left that as plus x minus 3, and the reason I do that is because had that been a plus 1 over or minus 1 over x, a lot of people forget to distribute the negative and make it which would have made it minus x plus 3. So I went ahead and left it alone here just to kind of reinforce that idea. Okay. And then we go through and we start simplifying. We have 2x squared plus x minus 3 equals 4x squared minus 12x. Okay. Okay, so now we want to we have an equation and we want to get the equation equal to 0 because it is a polynomial equation. Which side you choose to move stuff to is really up to you. I kind of have a personal preference where I like to keep my squared terms positive, so I'm going to move everything to the right hand side. So I'll subtract off a 2x squared, subtract off an x, and add a 3, and then do the exact same thing to the other side of the equation. So minus 2x squared minus x plus 3. So now that gives me 0 equals 2x squared minus 13x plus 3. So now we have an equation. It's a polynomial equation. You could try to factor here, but I think you're going to run really quickly into the problem that factoring just isn't going to do it. So this will require us to use the quadratic formula. So going into the quadratic formula, we would say x is equal to the negative of negative 13 plus or minus square root of negative 13 squared minus 4 times 2 times 3. And then that's all over 2a. 2 times 2. And then we simplify. Usually with the square root I like to write it above, so negative 13 squared would be 169. 4 times 2 times 3 would be 24. So cleaning our problem up, we now have x equals 13 plus or minus the square root of 145 all divided by 4. And those are going to be our two solutions for this equation. Now there is one other thing that you need to concern yourself with, and that is because we did solve a fractional equation. We would need to confirm that those answers do not cause the common denominator to be 0, but a quick inspection of the common denominator says, oh, it's going to be the integers 0 and 3. And because that square root of 145 will not reduce to anything, we know these answers are going to be irrational, and so the answers are perfectly fine as they are. I hope this has helped you out a little bit, gives you something you can look back to kind of review as you're working through the homework.